Hey guys, welcome to McCree Tea, where we talk about the entertainment industry and explain all the gossip and whatever the tea is handling. I'm Jason McCree, your host, and today we're just going to be laying back a bit and really just talking about mental health. And this is kind of like our vent episode. So we're going to have this every single season where we talk about mental health. I talk about an aspect of my life, and I also give advice to how I would say other people can handle it, how I handled it differently, or if I give you advice to do it the exact same way. But the topic of this mental health episode for this season is transitioning periods in your life, especially for me personally, was going from high school to college and also from being a teenager to an adult in a working aspect. And so what I mean by that is when I graduated from high school, I went into college. Some of you might not know, but I am in college. I am a social work major. I'm trying to do a little something, but I'm in college right now, and the transition from leaving high school to being in college was a very big transition that I don't think I mentally prepared myself for. There's always all the talk of being in college and trying to succeed and making sure you know what you want to do. And I really do commend people because, they helped me figure out what I want to do and how I want to succeed. But I think nobody really prepared me to go through the mental aspect of switching that shift or that switch, whatever you want to say, and making it so that I don't see this as school, but actually seeing this as a stepping stone to getting to the career I want. Because when I did go first into college, I tackled it head on. My first semester, I did really well. I made Dean's List. I had all A's and B's. Like, I did very well for myself. I didn't work mostly that whole semester. Semester's 15 weeks. I just had more time to myself in that transition period where I felt like I was me. And also I had kind of had a better support system where I was still friends with more people from high school and I was able to vent or have someone to talk to. While in my second semester, it was really not a breaking point, but it was more of a point to where it was more reality of growing up per se. Because for my second semester, it was when I didn't really have no friends from high school except one or two maybe. And it was a period to where didn't want to go to school. I was doing work at home. Just it was a period where I wouldn't want to look back on it, wouldn't wish it anybody at all. But this period for me was really eye opening because it showed me that there are low points in anything you do. Like everybody has low points. Don't ever just tell somebody, like, because they were saying, you could be lazy or this or that. Don't tell somebody they're lazy if you don't know what they're going through. Don't run or try to be somebody's support system if you don't know what you're supporting. And also, it's very important to know when someone says they don't want to talk about something, respect their wishes. That's the biggest thing I can say right now is that when someone says they don't want to talk or they're trying to be closed off and understand their own situation first before reaching help, because that's the type of person I am. I try to understand my own situation first. I process, I process, I analyze, and then I go back over everything again. Then I figure out the help that I need, while as somebody else could reach out for that help first and then figure out what they need. You always need to let people choose their own path instead of feeling like you need to help, because some people don't want help or feel like they don't need it. We have to respect choices. But for me, my second semester was just a whirlwind of emotions for me. It kind of put me into such a bad place mentally because my second semester really was just a low point in my life, especially when I started my new job in the pharmacy. People were not nice at all. They have a peer where they just were not nice to me for, I'd say, about 3 to 4 months. They just were not nice to me at all. And it affected me a lot because I started my second semester, didn't have any friends at college really. Plus, people were being mean at work. Plus, I had to go home, sit in front of a computer all day, and then wake up at 5 in the morning and make it so my days just really pulled a toll on me. To one point it was, oh, I cannot. There was a breaking point for me where I just stopped. And I didn't say, I won't say I gave up because I still gave my best for that semester. But it was a point where in the middle of the semester on specific classes or even just throughout the week, I gave up. I said, I'm not doing nothing. I'm laying down and that's it. And I think that was the first point in my life where I mentally realized that signs of depression are real. And I know this is crazy. Like some people be like, oh, depression is depression that. I know I've probably been through depression a couple times in my life because I've been through some rough things. I've been through toxic situations here and there. And this was a different type of sad or lowness for me because it was something that it wasn't the environment I was surrounded in. It was the environment I was surrounding myself in. And I think that's what made me realize that, oh, I should really talk to someone. And that is what made me get my therapist that I have today. And I won't say I suggest people to get a therapist because some people are better at venting to friends or finding somebody close to them in their circle where they could go to, which is kind of like therapy. But for me, I wanted to find someone who has been to school, knows how to help people go through things, but also somebody who legally cannot tell my business. I wanted somebody who legally couldn't tell my business. I don't want them to go and be like, oh, yeah, because that's what your friend can do. But if you go to a therapist, confidentiality. Don't go around telling my business. Who do you think you are? But when I first met my therapist, she was really nice. I told her about the things that I wanted to work on in therapy. Some things she would support, other things, she was like, I don't think there's any reason for you to reach that type of goal because it's not healthy. So she really helped me discern what is healthy and what's not for me. And after going to therapy, and I went to a couple sessions, I was telling her about stuff I was going through, how I'm feeling. And then she did suggest to go to the doctor and seek counseling for depression. And it did kind of make me really have a pivot in my head, like, because as black people, there's always mental health is a stigma. Black people don't really talk about mental health. It's always pushed on the back burner. It's never like spoken about a lot. And when I thought about it, like, I gotta go to my white doctor and be like, my therapist told me to talk. Like, in my head, I've never ever been in that type of situation where I thought I would have to do that. But then I came to a point where I saw it as a real issue and actually started looking at it as depression when I wouldn't eat. Like, I would not eat all day. I would not get up out of bed and I would just see it as fine or like I wouldn't even process it at all. And I think that is what became my breaking point where I was like, okay, let me go to the doctor and let's figure all this out. And I went to the doctor, and I think that was one of the best decisions because he did prescribe me something, and it has helped me a lot with discerning everything that I have going through my life right now, and also just getting through my emotions day to day. And especially since this is the start of a semester, I think it's helping me a lot with getting through these first couple weeks or even just work or day to day. But I would have never thought about actually calling or even like I could go through my sad moments. Like I've been through my sad moments. I know I've been through depression. I think everybody's been through at least one. But I think for me, especially in my environment and especially how the stigma on mental health is in the black community is that you don't talk about it. You do not speak up. You just deal with it. And I think that's what I grew up on. And after I was like, that's not healthy. Let's talk to someone because I want to get my degree. I want to succeed in everything I want to succeed in. Like I want to succeed in my podcast, I want to succeed on YouTube, I want to succeed on all the social media platforms that I can. But I don't want to continuously hold myself back because I'm scared to speak out and reach for help. That is the real problem instead of chasing my dreams. I can't chase my dreams if I keep holding myself back at the starting point. So once I got all that out, and I started all my whole journey for especially fixing my mental health or even accommodating myself to proceed with mental health. It really opened my mind on so many situations that I've been through in my life, and it made me set a point to where now, because I've always been seen as the person where you come to for help. I've always been that type of person where I help you and I don't get anything in return, and I see that as normal. Whereas now I've been being through therapy and learning my self-worth, I know that's not okay. Like, I need to set boundaries, and that's especially the first thing I've really been doing for my mental health is setting boundaries, and especially healthy boundaries with everyone. And I'm saying everyone, family, work, coworkers, friends. I've been setting boundaries, and everyone needs to set boundaries. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't have boundaries, clear boundaries set for people, like your life will run rampant in between theirs. And it's kind of like they'll feel like you're always on their side, but then if you don't come through for them, it just is a lot of work on you when you're also taking on this person's emotion. But if you have your boundaries set and if you really know what you want in this friendship and what you don't want in a friendship or even just in a relationship in general, those boundaries will help you so much. And I've learned that like the hard way because I didn't used to really have boundaries. I always just accepted whatever people said and kept it pushing, and always used to say I was an optimist, or oh, it was. I used to think it was something I deserved, but I've been working on my self worth. I've been working on my self love. I'm setting my boundary. Everything that you need to do to really feel as a human, to feel as a person. That's the important thing I think I really got out of therapy, is that to focus on how I feel as a person, because mostly used to feel mostly used to think about how people viewed me as a person, which is not a healthy mindset. Like, if y'all have that type of mindset, it's not healthy at all. Don't do it. You don't need to value yourself over people's opinions. And I went through like a big period when I started going through mental health changes and really focusing on myself and figuring out what I want in life. And I was not on social media. I was not posting. I could scroll through social media, everything, but I was not posting my about me, like my daily life. I was being more private and reserved because beforehand I was always posting and I was always talking to people and I was always putting myself out to be this type of person I was not. Like, if people who really know me, they know I'm very laid back, very calm. I don't speak loud. Like, I'm just such a quiet, laid back person. While as in high school, everybody could have known me as the energetic, outspoken, wanting to get to know everybody type person. Whereas that was a persona for me that I felt like I needed to give to people. When in all reality, I was telling myself a narrative that others wanted to know, and I believed that narrative so much that I weighed a toll on my health. Like, I weighed so much problems on myself and my mental health during that period of my life because I didn't want to figure out who I was at that moment, because in life, especially because it was a transition period for me, and I know lots of people right now are going through transition periods. Like, if you're a senior right now and you're thinking of going to college, or even if you're not thinking of going to college and just getting a job and working towards your goals, each path is hard. Like, you have to think about how you're going to deal with things. You have to really set up a plan about what you're going to do. Because if you don't have that plan, or even if you don't think about the situations and consequences that can happen from either choice that you made, then it would be a lot more problem, I swear. Like me, I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to work in the pharmacy. That was all I had. Like, I know all of my dreams and my goals that I want to accomplish, but I think I never really set a clear line on how I'm going to achieve them. And I think that's what people who are at that transition period really need to focus on right now. Like, even if you're like, it doesn't matter what age. If you're in a transition period of your life where you feel like you're trying to be greater than you are right now, set goals that are clear. Because I had a psychology class, so I know. Set goals that are clear and obtainable. Because if you don't set clear and obtainable goals, when you don't reach that goal, you set yourself back even further. And that's what really hurts people, is that when you set a goal that's not obtainable in a time frame that you give yourself, you hurt your self-esteem. You hurt yourself mentally. And my advice is such clarity, like give yourself clarity on what you can succeed in the time frames of what you give yourself. Because I kept giving myself unreasonable time frame. I kept telling myself I could complete something so quickly, when in reality I shouldn't have told myself that. Give yourself time. Give yourself grace to grow and be a human. Like, you don't have to, like my podcast, I know this is going to be smooth sailing. Like, this is more of a diary for me, or just a book to write in or somebody to talk to, instead of, oh, I see it as an outlet to make money. No, because that is a smooth curve uphill. You have to work hard for that. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire in 3 months, why say that? Set an obtainable goal. Oh, I want to become a millionaire in 5 years. That should be obtainable for you, for however you feel like you will reach it. Set a goal on how you know you can succeed it, instead of saying I'm going to succeed it no matter what. Because when you don't, that is going to hurt you so bad, and you have no idea what it can literally drag you into depression, and you might not get out. It might become severe depression at that point, where you really need to seek help, and you don't want to go through that. I mean, I don't know nothing about it. You don't want to go through that. For me though, the transition period, how I went through it, was I looked back on how I really viewed myself, mostly after therapy, and now I kind of view myself as a person. I view myself more as someone who deserves respect as you give me respect. I'm not gonna just give you respect whenever you want it. Like, that's not how this works. If you don't respect me, I'm not gonna respect you. I give you the borderline respect of human needs, but if like you're cussing me out, why would I speak to you in a nice manner tone? Especially if I'm not at work. If I'm not at work, I'm not speaking to you in a nice tone. Let's be for real. Cause I don't know where you think you got that from, but not from me. Not from me at all. Cause it ain't from me. But oh, especially work. I think work was also a big point for me, where I really started to understand what the world was about. Like, the people at work, the age bracket is higher, and in the pharmacy, because it's either people who went to pharmacy school, went to get the degrees, and they could have worked somewhere else for a really long time, and then they came to the pharmacy I work at. I'm the youngest person in the pharmacy right now. I'm 19. Everybody else is 25 and up. So they're all older. Most people have families. They have kids who are in kindergarten, and or even like they're 25 and they live on their own, and they work full time and da 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 da. When I first started, everybody just, there were people, of course, who were nice. Like, I'm not gonna say everybody was mean per se, but I think it was a period where people nitpicked with me, and I was just like, what in the world is going on? Like, what did I do to people to make them feel this way? Because, people say that I have communication issues where I work at. And I understand from their point of view, because, they are older than me. They see communication a certain type of way in the work aspect. While for me, I learned, especially in therapy, that I'm not going to change myself for anyone anymore. So when somebody tells me something, or like they're showing me something, I'm the type of person where I say okay, because I understand what you said, and I move on. While that might not be the response that they want, and I'm not sure why they expect it. So like, I've had a couple times where they don't receive the response they want, and then they continuously ask me if I understand, and then I'm like, yes, I do. And then I get back to me that someone complained about me, and I mean, I don't know what to say to that because in the workplace, there's not, I already know there's not a lot of people you're going to always get along with. But I think it's even harder when you go into a workplace with people who have worked together for years and have bonds and know each other. Because you're literally coming in as fresh meat, no one knows you, and it's like they're trying to build a bond for you, but I'm this quiet person who stays to themselves, and it's kind of hard to get a word out of me. Like I don't speak a lot when in conversations. I'm more of a listener. So like that was also a thing that they feel like I need to work on per se. I guess is that I need to speak more, but I don't know what that means. I really don't know. Like I don't know what they mean by speak more. Like I feel like I speak enough. I be saying good morning. I be walking up in there. I come to work. That's the best they need. I come to work. Another thing I can say, which really did open my eyes to the world, is that there was one time like someone was like very like someone was racist to me. And like it was the first time I blatantly experienced racism, like firsthand racism. And it was in the most random space because I was on my way home. I was walking across the crosswalk. I was walking across the crosswalk and I just heard like someone being ooh ah. Like I heard somebody making monkey noises. And I was like, what is that? And like I turned around and there was these two older white men, like probably like in their 30s, 40s, making monkey noises at me. And like I turned around and I really had to reach into the belly of Christ. Like I swear because I know I'm a little ghetto, like I'm not gonna lie. But I had to reach into the belly of Christ and make sure I didn't punch down the hell because I was really about to turn around and cuss them out. But then I was like, I got my cross on today. Jesus is standing by me. Because if I do, they going to call the police. And then I'm going to get racially profiled. And I'm not dealing with that. So I took my ass home. But that really like made me think like, damn, people really are still racist. And I think it's really like you never really think about it like that. Like, oh, people be racist. Like, I've never really experienced firsthand racism or never really thought of it as firsthand racism whenever I've gone through something. Because whenever I've experienced something from somebody of a different race in general, I don't ever view it in a negative way. While that was, I can only view it in a negative way. And it like shocked me to the core. And like when I told other people, like especially black people, like they thought it was funny. And I'm like, how is it funny that somebody made monkey noises to me? And you black too, and you think this is funny? Like, we really need to get our priorities straight. Like, I've said this even before. Like, black people's priorities are not where they need to be right now. Like, it's really black against black at this point because sometimes it could be, especially with me, I could be around black people and then they'll be like, oh, you bougie and oh, you this, and that. And I'd be telling them, if I can afford the lifestyle I want, I'm going to pay for it. Why am I bougie? Because I'm buying something I want. Like, how is that bougie? Because I can afford something you can't. I don't see it as bougie. I see it as I worked hard and played my cards right for the opportunities I received and I make me some good money, so I'm gonna buy me a phone. Like, or they see it, but they see it as, oh, you bougie. Like, what? You always out here buying this, and that. You eating out. Da 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 da. Da. If I got eating out money, guess what? I'ma eat out. Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Outback, Steak House, anything I want. If I want it, I'ma get it. Like, even if it's just some simple McDonald's. If I got the money for it and I want some, I'm going to get it. How are you going to judge me and call me all these different things just because you don't got it? And that's so much in the black community. Like, if somebody could, quote unquote, make it out the mud, and if they don't bring people with them or if they don't give people opportunities, they fake. Like, how am I fake because I worked hard to get in the position where I can literally retire myself right now and not have to work no more. But I'm the problem because I don't want to give you money or I don't want to get you a job, or I don't want to just give you opportunities for free or just hand things out to you when I worked hard to get to where I'm at. In the community, it's just people are expecting freebies, and I don't do freebies. Like if I get to a point to where I am where I want to be, especially financially, because I be telling people all the time, they be thinking I'm joking, but I want me my little plantation house. I want me the little house down south. Want me my land. I'm giving me a couple acres. I'm gonna have my plantation home. It's gonna be southern style. I'm gonna have my big little southern porch all around my house with the banisters and listen, it's gonna be beautiful. And I tell people my vision, and they'll be like, "Oh, how are you gonna do that? Like, how are you gonna make all that money?" Oh, I got business plans, and I got goals I'm gonna reach, and I know how I'm gonna reach those goals. Some people not be like laughing and like, what's so funny that I have a goal that I want to reach? You think I can't reach it? Now I'm gonna show you I can reach. And I think that's what everyone needs to work on. It don't matter what race you are. Work on showing other people you can do it, but also showing yourself most of all that you can do it, because it all ties back to your self-worth. It don't got nothing to do with being humble. It don't got nothing about making sure you play your cards right. It all got to do with how you see yourself moving forward and getting to that point that you see in the future, because you can see the future that you want to create, but you don't see the path that you walk to get to that future. And that's what I'm walking right now. I'm trying to get to my little millionaire status, get my plantation home and my acres and my little farm. But I don't know how I'm going to get that. I don't know how fast I would obtain it. I don't know anything. So I'm not going to rush myself. I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to make sure I make everything right choices, wrong choices, learn through my mistakes. I'm going through everything at the pace God puts me at. Because if I rush myself and then I put myself back to the beginning, I'm going to hate myself even more. Like, I'm not even going to want to do it at that point. What would be the point if I push myself back from all of these things? And I know I'm talking a lot, but y'all, this is why it's called Vent with Me, okay? Vent. Good, life is hard, okay? Like, I be telling people sometimes I don't want to work. Like, I tell them all the time at work, like, I really don't like to work. Like, I don't want to come here. I don't want to work. And they be like, then why do you work? I'm like, I'm not going to be broke. Like, I just want to be able to make money while laying down. Like, I just want to be able to make money stationary. I don't want to have to move. Like, I got employees. Like, I don't like working underneath another person as well. Like, working underneath people, for me is like crazy. Like, I hate working under somebody. I want to be my own boss. I want to have so many things that I want to own. I want to own too many things. I'm trying to be multifaceted. Okay, I'm trying to have business everywhere. They're gonna be like, oh, Jason McCree owned this too, and he owned that, and he got this type of business. You sure do, sure do. I most definitely got that type of business. You can catch me on all my social media platforms. Cause what you talking about? Like McCree T, I feel like that's gonna be the first. This is gonna be the really. I feel like McCree T, especially, is gonna be something I'm pushing first because it's something I can really do more of by myself, but also interviewing other people like I really want to do. McCree T for me is really just an open book. Like I feel like McCree T can be something that anybody could listen to, but also something where it's how I reflect on myself when I grow up. So I think it's really just in my later years, I could listen back to myself and be like, I sounded so stupid. So that's why I said earlier, it's kind of like a diary or journal for me, because everything that goes on in my life, like I don't really remember much. Like my memory is just shot, but I want to be able to see myself in the vision that I created. So I'm going to work hard for that. And I'll just, like, I've been investing in this podcast so much because I really do believe in the idea. And I believe in what I can bring to the table. So I'm going to work hard for this podcast. I'm going to strive for everything I can do. Because if I don't, like, who's going to do it? But I'm not going to vent for that much, y'all. Like, I am going to leave it here because if I vent anymore, then we're gonna be here for an hour and we ain't gotta talk for an hour. So I am gonna keep this a little more short just so that I respect all of our time and especially mine because a bitch gotta edit. I got school assignments to do. So I'm gonna catch y'all on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Drop in the comments if you have any topics you want to talk about. Go follow me on Instagram at Jason_McCree. And also go onto the YouTube channel McCree T if you're on Spotify. And just really let me know your opinions on things we should talk about. Let me know if there's anything you agree with or if there's something you would also give advice to people. We always gotta share, y'all. We gotta let everybody know we about the business. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see y'all in the next episode.